Before the episode begins, time for a little bit of bragging. This is Series 9 of the podcast, and since it began in 2020, we've built up multiple thousands of listens and views. Now, just imagine if that audience were to hear your business or event sponsoring the episode, or even a whole series. Well, imagine no longer. Just check out the show notes for more details and how to get in touch. Welcome to the RG10 Podcast, brought to you by the people behind RG10 magazine. The aim is to bring you interviews, information and entertainment. In fact, anything interesting that's relevant to living around here. If you've ever been walking in Bowsey Woods at the back of Wargrave, you've probably seen Camp Mohawk. Set in 5 acres of countryside, it's an activity day centre for children and young people with a variety of special needs, both cognitive and physical. It's got indoor and outdoor facilities and activities such as a sensory room, gaming, music and art areas, a swimming pool, den building and a campfire. About 35 different special schools use the facilities during the week, and then during the school holidays and weekends it's open to families. They also run special events throughout the year and after school groups for high functioning autistic children and young people. This can include off-site activities to help build their confidence and understand relationships, all the kind of things that some of us may take for granted but the children can find really difficult. I've been speaking to Camp Mohawk's Samantha Rosier to find out more.
I think Camp Mohawk is a really special place to a lot of people. We have over 550 families that are registered with us, and I think it's important to the young person. I also think it's really important to their siblings and to the parents as well. So for a lot of our parents, they've made fantastic friendships and it's a community. Do you know what I mean? People understand one another, they understand the difficulties and the stresses that come with being a SEN parent. And also, I just think Camp Mohawk is such a beautiful place because it's just so inclusive and there's no judgment. The kids are free to be who they are and who they want to be. And I just think as a parent as well, that's really important. And to be able to take your child somewhere and to relax and to know that they're safe, to know that they're not judged and to know that they can, have a really fun time, and that if it does, a meltdown might happen or there's a struggle, that's okay, and that's fine to do that. So yeah, it's a magical place.
Now, these aren't just words from you. It's not just marketing speak. You've actually been through this yourself, haven't you? Tell me a bit about how you got to know about Camp Mohawk.
Yeah, so before I worked for Camp Mohawk, we were one of the registered families. We still are now. We still use the facilities now. So we first discovered Camp Mohawk right at the beginning of the first lockdown. So it was a really difficult time for everybody. I think if we think back to the first lockdown, the world was a really scary, different place. And my son was 5 at the time. He's autistic and has ADHD, and he was really struggling with what was going on, like we all were, but he developed really bad agoraphobia, and his anxiety was at its worst, basically. And taking him out to places was becoming increasingly difficult, and it was becoming quite dangerous as well. He's a runner, not so much now. He's growing out of it slowly, but back then he was a runner and he was fast. So when you've got other children as well, it was quite difficult for me to kind of, do it all. And we were really struggling. And a friend actually recommended Camp Mohawk, so I reached out, and then we went on a visit, and it was just life-changing for all of us. I think for Archie, it's allowed him to have normal parts of childhood that so many children take for granted. Do you know what I mean? But, he's made some amazing friends. His confidence has grown. He feels understood and accepted there. His siblings love coming with him, and it's something that they can all enjoy together. They don't often get that opportunity. And for my elder son, he's a young carer, and he can really struggle with the pressures of having a a special needs sibling sometimes. So he actually gets to relax a little bit as well, because he knows that Archie is safe and Archie is having a nice time. So he might go off with somebody, another child, and play football and actually sort of get to do something for him and to get to enjoy himself. I think when you're a family, a parent of a child with special needs, your life is so often filled with can'ts. And for me, Camp Mohawk has just allowed us to have some cans. Do you know what I mean? We can do this. Archie is very sensitive to noise. So going to a fireworks display has been an impossibility forever. But we go to the Mohawk firework display, and the boys, they all enjoy it together. And that's something that we were never able to do before. And just that is priceless. You can't, I think, unless you're living it, it's difficult to understand. But to be able to give your children those experiences is everything. And I think Camp Mohawk allows us to do that, and allows so many families to do that. And that's just why it's such an important place.
And an awful lot of the issues you've raised there, they really come home to roost, if you like, during the school summer holidays as well. So the work you do then is incredibly important. If you look at the Camp Mohawk diary on the website, it is just absolutely jam-packed, the calendar through the summer holidays. Tell me a bit about the role Camp Mohawk fulfills during the summer holidays, and I guess the stresses that are placed on parents then, and what you see.
Yeah. I mean, so we are open all through the summer. We are open, our family support projects, one of our main projects. So we're open during the week and then at the weekend. So like I said before, the kids can come with their siblings and with their parents, and we run half-day sessions. So 2 sessions each day. And the swimming pool and things are open, all the facilities are there. People can bring their own food, have a picnic. It's a nice opportunity for some of our families to meet up as well. It might be a good catch up. And then we run our adventure days as well, which is for our short breaks group. So that gives, those families respite. It's an opportunity for them to get a bit of a break. Summer holidays, I think, are really stressful for any family. But when you've got a family where you've got special needs children involved, it can be really tricky. So from a personal perspective, I'm sort of dreading the 6 weeks, because Archie doesn't like to leave the house. It's really tricky to get him to go places, especially new places. But somewhere like Camp Mohawk, for him, he'll go there. So I know that at least once a week, or at least, do you know what I mean? I will get him to leave the house, and he will be able to do something, and he will enjoy it. And then hopefully after a visit to Mohawk, it might have boosted his confidence a little bit. And then we might be able to go, to the park, or to go swimming, or to do something else. And I think for a lot of our families, it is a lifeline. And especially when you've got that long period of time, so many children rely on the routine of school, and the kind of the unexpected of the summer can be really, really tricky. So I think to know that they've got the consistency of somewhere like Camp Mohawk is really, really important for them.
I'm in a similar position to yourself in many ways. My child, my boy, goes to Camp Mohawk as well. And you do, when you have that kind of facility, something like that you can look forward to, it's that feeling that when you get there, or you can just go just a few hours like that, where you don't have to think of anything, where you're not constantly in that state of anxiety, isn't it? And I'm speaking as a parent here, rather than obviously it's different. The children get so much out of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of kind of the mainstream activities, they're so difficult for our kids. They're so busy. They're so, from a sensory point of view, it's really, overwhelming, overstimulating. So those kind of things through the summer, we might do the odd thing, but it's not like we can do lots of kind of mainstream activities, because it's just too much. So yeah, I think I can be a bit of a helicopter parent as well. So Arch has that sense of freedom when he's at Mohawk, which is really important for him. But I find that really hard. I don't know if you're like that as well.
Yeah, I think
it's hard.
I think it's hard not to be a helicopter parent sometimes, or
but
think that
there
you're being
I do
one,
allow
the way
him.
it is.
I allow him that freedom, and he must get so much from that. Do you know what I mean? It's so important, and he can run there, and it's okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of places to run. I've always been, growing up in journalism, it always took an awful lot. You'd hear an awful lot of people would come in, you get press releases from all kinds of places and people saying, we've got these inspiring stories. And you just go, oh, God, another inspiring story. And very, very cynical. But then you go to somewhere like recently, and over the last few years, I would actually go somewhere like Camp Mohawk and I'd feel myself choking up. You're thinking, oh my God, this is genuinely touching me. I'm actually being inspired here. What on earth has happened to me? All the cynicism has gone. My God, I've gone through this amazing change. But it genuinely, you can't help it when you go somewhere like Camp Mohawk, feeling that these people who are working there are doing this amazing work. And they're making a huge difference. They're genuinely making a massive difference to people's lives. I can't believe I'm saying that. That's not within my makeup to say that about anything whatsoever. But it really is true. And I can't emphasize that strongly enough.
Oh, yeah, no, difference. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's given so many people so many opportunities. We've got a fantastic ambassador, actually, Connor. He's in his mid-20s now, but he is a ex-Mohawk, user. He would come in his teenage years when he was having a really, really difficult time. He's got a really moving story, a really powerful story, but he describes Camp Mohawk as the place that saved his life. And he feels so much, so strongly about what a wonderful place it is, but he now comes back and he volunteers. And he is autistic, but he is fantastic. And I think for our young people to see him, to see how much he's grown and see how far he's come and to have that positive role model, that's just amazing.
How would you go about getting involved, helping out with what you do, maybe even volunteering, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, we are a huge site and we are a very small team. So there was always, lots of kind of work to be done. We are always on the lookout for volunteers to help us with, gardening, simple tasks like that. Whether you are a company or a community group, we are, many hands make light work, as they say. If you want to take on a challenge and fundraise for us or make us your charity of the year, it costs around £380,000 to keep the centre running yearly at our current capacity, and we get no government or local authority funding. So everything that we do comes from fundraising. We have a few grants and trusts that support us and have supported us in the past, but that is why corporates, community groups are so important to our ongoing work, to be able for us to continue to do what we're doing, donating goods in kind. We're always doing raffles and things like that. Need to update equipment on site as well because it's very, very heavily used. Whether it be somebody wants to, do a regular donation, £10 a month, just £10, that can fund a session at one of our after-school groups for a young person. So there is so many ways, and we are always on the lookout for people to, to show their help and support.
That was Samantha Rosier from Camp Mohawk. Thanks so much for listening to the RG10 podcast. As I said at the start of the episode, there are opportunities to sponsor the show. Check out the show notes to find out more. And if you've got any thoughts about who or what we can include in future episodes, then please do let us know via the rg10mag.com website or on any of our various social media channels. Goodbye.